Hi folks, this is Nicole E. with Narcissistic Mental Abuse. I'm coming at you today in Michigan. I've had a lot of things on my mind and haven't had a lot of time to do any videos. However, I wanted to touch base with you all and talk about something that has been on my mind a little bit. One thing that's really bothering me is, this is not the first abusive relationship that I have been in, okay? And that is why I have chosen at this point in time in my life to see a counselor for domestic violence. Because in the past, I did not seek any sort of help. I figured that the problem was their problem, that they had a problem and they were violent towards me. But when you pick someone who has a problem with domestic violence, there is also something wrong with you. And it might not necessarily be that you deserve it or that you're looking for it, but that you have something wrong with your brain and you have a very hard time knowing what is good for you and what is not, and what you can and cannot tolerate. So, instead of talking about my third husband, who is the one that I normally do discuss, I would like to discuss my second husband, who is the one that physically abused me. Okay? We'll talk about the other husband, the first husband, in another issue. But this is specifically about physical abuse. Okay? One thing that I have learned about abuse is that when a woman is physically abused, it usually isn't the first time by the time she leaves. Now, I was with Douglas for a total of 7 years, and part of the time I was with him, we were separated. So most of the time that we were separated because we lived in two different countries and we just talked, okay? But there was a good 3 years total that we did wind up living together, and it was hell most of the time. Now, I'm not going to get into the democracy of going overseas to be with someone or anything else like that. I don't want to talk about that. I simply want to talk about the abuse. So, the first time that the abuse happened was right after we got married. I went back to his place where he was staying with his mother in her house. We were getting his things together, and we got into an argument on the bed, and he put his hand around my neck like he was going to choke me, and he put pressure there, but then he released the pressure, and I didn't know what to do. I was stuck in another country. I didn't know what to do. Was this even happening? Was this even real? Was this serious or not? And at the time, I didn't think it was serious because I thought that if he really was trying to hurt me, he would have hurt me. Then, we were walking one day in the woods, and I was on the ground, and I looked up, and there he was. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know what happened. I just was on the ground. Didn't feel a thing. Didn't hear a thing. And then I looked up, and he's offering me his hand, as if he's going to help me up. And I did not take his hand. I didn't take his hand because I didn't know what happened. It happened that quick. And And then he explained that he kicked me to the ground. That it was a kick that he learned in Aikido. He just wanted to know if he could do it. I also didn't take that attack seriously. After that attack happened, we were in the boat and we were playing around, and he looked at me and he said, "I can take the wind out of you." And I thought he was joking, and I said, "No, you can't do that. I'll see it coming." And just that fast, I couldn't breathe. Because he took the wind out of me. Again, I didn't take the attack seriously. This is something that is a normal occurrence for someone who is a victim of domestic violence, and it is something that happens to people who put their trust in someone that they really don't believe has any ill intentions to hurt them. The fourth attack happened after we were living together for 1.5 to 2 years. I can't remember exactly. 4 attacks in less than 2 years. Okay. Where he went to work and he come home, and I went out to bring some laundry out to his car, because we would go do the laundry at his mother's place. And I found some chocolates in his car, and they were hiding underneath his seat. And I thought, well, why would you have chocolates hiding underneath your seat? Why wouldn't you bring these chocolates in and share them with your wife unless you were doing something bad? So I brought the chocolates to him, and I put them on the floor, and I stomped on them in front of him because I was very jealous. I was very angry. I'm not saying that that was the right thing to do. I'm just saying women get mad, and he attacked me. He punched me in the stomach. Punched me. It was so hard that I went to the hospital for internal bleeding. That was the fourth attack. So then after that, I went to see a domestic violence counselor, but I didn't see her for very long. She was actually just someone who was in training, because she just got her degree. So even though I was talking with her, I wasn't getting a lot done. She did help me realize a few things, but then I went back to America. I don't remember her last name, but her first name was Felicity. with an F. Felicity. Anyways, if you ever see this, Felicity, I appreciate you. I appreciate you and your help back in the UK. So, I was also taught through another person who did counseling briefly with me that when you are a victim of violence, your level of, I guess what you would call your bullshit level, tolerance level, is higher for bullshit than of people that haven't ever been in an abusive situation. So because I have been in an abusive situation, my father abused me. I'm sorry, Dad. God bless my father, because I love him, and he's gone and he can't defend himself. That doesn't make what he did okay. My father was abusive, and then my first husband was verbally abusive. He was a sexual pervert. My second husband was physically abusive, to the point where I went to the hospital. And my third husband was verbally abusive to the point where I almost cracked. My mind almost cracked, okay? And I was in a point in my mind during the narcissistic relationship with him where I believed that I really believed that I held absolutely no value to my relatives, to myself, to him, or anyone on this earth. Even though I knew differently, even though I knew in my head and in my heart that that was wrong, it is actually a part of the mind games that they play with you, the gaslighting, the manipulation, where you will become a forever victim of their lies. And that is something that you have to face every single day when you wake up. Your mind is messed up. You don't remember what is right and what is wrong because you can't even, they run you around in a circle and you can't even remember the circle that they ran you around in sometimes because it is exhausting. It is mentally exhausting. To the point where you may not have any energy to even think about your own self. What do you want? And sometimes it becomes a situation of what do you want right now? Not necessarily what do you want in the big picture, because at some point you forget where the big picture is. This is your picture. You have your picture, and you're trying to fill your picture full of things in your life, and you don't know how to do that because someone is running you around in a circle, okay? And when you go in a circle, you're not going in a straight line, so therefore you're never going to get out, okay? So it is only through actualization, self-realization, and the grace of God sometimes that the women actually get out of these situations. And had I not been working in the mental health field for 18 years, it is highly probable that I would have never gotten out of that relationship, because I believed in my head and in my heart that I was deeply in love, deeply in love with someone, and that they returned that, but we were just having problems. Okay, but the truth is that if we were just having problems, how come I was the one not trying to be a part of the problem and he was the one presenting all of the problems? We weren't having problems. He was having problems. And I was participating in trying to make him happy, but they are nothing but an empty hole, like a hole in a boat that fills full of water, and you're trying to get the water out of the boat. Well, eventually the boat is going to capsize. And that is what happens when you are in a relationship with a narcissist. At any rate, this is a very hard thing for me to talk about, the abuse by my second husband. My second husband was extremely intelligent. He was very likable. I don't think he was a narcissist. I think he was more like a sociopath. But I'm not sure. But I definitely think that he had some form of a personality disorder, and I realized this after I left him. Just before I left him, actually, but it came to more of a realization after I left him. And I think that it is very plausible that because I worked in mental health for 18 years with people with disabilities, and they were mental disabilities, that it is very probable that I was put into a situation where I was used to these bad behaviors because I was used to dealing with people with problems. And it did not help me finding my future endeavors, even though I was no longer employed in the mental health system. So it has probably given me a higher threshold for accepting people's mental illnesses and issues. And I'm not saying that I don't have one, because obviously there must be something going on if I keep going out with these assholes and dickheads who treat me like dog crap. Like, who wants to be kicked to the ground? Please, anybody that thinks it's okay to kick a woman to the ground, please make a comment below. If you think it's okay, please make a comment below so that I can find out who you are and block you. Because it is not okay, no matter what, it is not okay to kick someone into the ground. Whether or not, he could have said, he did say that it was he just wanted to know if he could do it. Oh, okay. So I'm your guinea pig for abuse. And every single time that he did something to me, it was worse than the time before. I'm your guinea pig. And it's the same thing between the physical abuse and the narcissistical mental abuse. Every time you go back to them, it gets worse. So when people advise you not to contact, don't have any contact, please take that advice. Please. It's for your own good, and it's for your safety. At any rate, I hope you guys have a narcissist-free day, and I hope you steer free of toxic people. And if you are running from someone who abused you, please don't contact them. There are other people on this earth, okay? You can knock on someone's door as a female and be like, I need help. Someone will help you, okay? Someone will help you. But you don't have to live in that house with the abuser. And men who are being abused by their females, I understand that there isn't as much help out there as there is for women, but I can assure you that there are women out there that they wear their heart on their sleeves, women like me. I know you don't know me, But there's women out there that wear their heart on their sleeves and will help you. And all you have to do is raise your hand, and we will help you. Sometimes it's hard to believe that a woman would abuse a man, but it is true. It is true that a woman would abuse a man. It may not be in the same way, but it is true. So please, don't talk to your abuser. There's other people out there that you can talk to. Every time I want to call my husband, I call my mother. Okay? I call my mother and I tell her I need to talk. So, we are into, I left in November and it is May. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So we're into 7 months of separation, and my divorce was final last month. So, we're in May, and I left in November. Do I look better? If you go back in the videos and you see my face, do I look better? I think I do. And I hope I'll be getting even better looking than this. Maybe not, because I'm kind of ugly, don't you think? But maybe I will. So, let's just keep our prayers together, and if you guys need any advice, you know where I'm at. Okay? God bless you. Peace out.